You're on the right. You're on the right. You're on the right one.
Get on the right path. You're on the right path.
Thank you.
You cutting up today.
That's it.
2202.
22, 24, 2022. That's good. You're good to go, sir. Thank you so very much.
I don't have to sign it anywhere else.
That's it.
Oh my God, Jeanette.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
You're a sweetheart.
Oh, good.
He wants to talk to you.
That's right. The chair will entertain or call the January 4th, 2022 meeting of the City Council to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Clerk, if you please call the roll.
Alderman Redpath.
Here.
Alderman Gregory.
Here.
Alderman Williams.
Here.
Alderman Philginzi.
Here.
Alderwoman Purchase.
Here.
Alderwoman DeCenso.
Present.
Alderman McMiniman.
Here.
Alderwoman Connolly.
Present.
Alderman Donlin.
Here.
Alderman Hanauer. Here. Mayor Langfelder.
Here.
Mr. Mayor, a quorum is present.
Thank you. Is there a motion to allow Alderman Hanauer to join the meeting?
Second.
Remotely? Been moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Very good. Barely passed. Let's see, Chair will entertain a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes of the December 21st, 2021 City Council meeting and approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Chair will entertain a motion to incorporate the pre-council first reading of ordinances in the record of this City Council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. The chair will entertain a motion to incorporate the pre-council reading of the consent agenda in the record of this City Council meeting.
So move.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Chair will entertain a motion to place the consent agenda on final passage.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no. The voting is now open.
Alderman Hanauer, how do you vote? Aye. Thank you.
The consent agenda passes 10 voting yes, none voting no. Agenda number 2021-336, 2021-337, 2021-370, and 2021-371 remain tabled or in committee. Is there any action on any of those? Next item on the agenda is docket number 2021-531, an ordinance authorizing execution of subrecipient agreement number 21-SR-005 with the Springfield project for acquisition costs associated with the acquisition of Southtown Economic Development Project, utilizing the city's community development block grant funds in an amount not to exceed $179,235 for the Office of Planning and Economic Development. Chair will entertain a motion to place agenda number 2021-531 on final passage.
So moved.
Been moved and second. Any discussion? All those in, Alderman Conley?
Yeah, I mean, I have some questions. I believe there were other people who had questions too.
Okay.
If I could, I don't know,
Dominic's there.
sorry, Dominic, I didn't see you. Just a couple things that were sent to me between last week and today. First one was an Illinois Times article where you're quoted as planning on requesting $630,000 from the CDBG funds from the city. And I didn't get that impression last week, so I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, I don't remember giving them that quote. I looked at that article today, and it wasn't in quotation marks or anything like that. I'm assuming that it was just misinterpretation of.
So because last week I really got the impression last week that this is the big ask of the city, is this 179?
Well, this was, again, and Mayor can probably speak to this, but this was the recommended ask. I mean, I can't say that I would never come up and ask for any other dollars as it relates to this project. So I don't want to go on record and say that by any means. But for this particular opportunity to come before you and ask for a commitment. We're only focusing on the 179.
Okay, good, okay, and because that was really the impression I got last week.
Absolutely.
So, and then this is again another article that was sent to me where, Mayor, you were quoted, there were quote marks, as saying the building is valued at about 110. So I just didn't know, we didn't talk about this. What's your breakdown and expectations with the extra funds?
Yeah, so, you know, I think we detailed in the application that this is actually, 110 is what we agree with the current property owner. It's valued at that, fair market value is about 105, 110, last we checked. But we are acquiring some of the parcels to the south of that building. That includes, just some torn down buildings that are now vacant.
Those empty lots in the parking lots
Absolutely.
behind it?
Absolutely.
Okay, so these extra funds actually go to a bigger purchase than just that single building?
Exactly.
Okay, all right, that clears up my questions that I had for Dominic. I did have just one, kind of a short series, Mayor, just because, just want to make sure, obviously, these are federal funds, and we don't have a director of planning and economic development, so just want to make sure, we've jumped through our hoops, you feel comfortable and confident that we've dotted every federal I and dotted every federal T? These are eligible funds and we're not going to have any HUD issues?
Yeah, actually, I'd allow Krista Colas, I think she phoned in. She's, of course, overseeing the CDBG funds. And then also we have Bill Cabal online. He's our consultant with CDBG funds, so he can speak to that as well.
Okay.
So I don't know if, Krista, if you want to speak to the application process. Is she on there?
She is.
You'll have to unmute yourself, please.
It's not a meeting unless you've double muted yourself.
Hi, I'm unmuting. Yes, this is Krista. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah. So the question was with regards to the application in itself with the HUD, making sure we have all the documentation needed for this purchase or this approval. Hello?
Okay, I believe I got the question okay. It's a little hard to hear on here, but I jumped out, was able to hear it on the TV. So bear with me. So yes, this is definitely an eligible CDBG activity under neighborhood revitalization. It's serving a population of low to moderate income. It is also serving the LMI population in that area. It is a LMI census tract. They are providing local entrepreneurial ecosystems and workforce. They're doing business development. They're serving they would like to benefit the minority and women-owned businesses. It is an acquisition activity that is eligible under CDBG. I don't know if our consultant can hear that well, but if he would like to also chime in, the project has met all of the qualifications required by CDBG.
Yeah, what the question was, if we received all the pertinent documentation needed for the application.
Hi, this is Bill Kubel, and yes, the initial application, the one thing we have to kind of button down is just the service area of the facility, but otherwise, it at first blush, it meets all the CDBG eligibility requirements. Absolutely.
I'm
So,
gonna,
Krista, did you hear that question? Krista Colas?
Mayor, can you tell me who these
Yep.
people are?
Actually, Krista Colas is charges community development block grant funds and OPED. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic, she's quarantining. And so the other one is Bill Cabal. He is our consultant. So he's the second individual spoke. But Krista, if you can hear us, hopefully you can. The question from Alderwoman Conley was making sure we have all the pertinent documentation needed for the application request.
well, and just that we've followed all of the federal procedures that we're supposed to, it's a lot of hoops,
Right.
I know that.
And that we followed all the requirements per HUD.
Yes, we have, to a T. Every document is accounted for.
Very good.
Thank you very much.
Documented, it's been reviewed, it's been vetted, we've run it past our CDBG consultant. It's a very good application, solid.
Very good.
Thank you.
Alderman Donlin?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Just a quick question. Dominic, one of my concerns was really the main concern was, that I brought up last week, was the fact that I don't want the city to be in a position where we've expended, nearly $180,000, and the projects and its project, I know we're talking about one phase presently, but it's really a series of projects, is contingent so heavily on grant funding. Although you did an excellent job of outlining the applications and the programs that could potentially fund the ongoing projects. But I just wanted to throw out there, is there a way, and I really don't know if the question's to you or the Corporation Council about, is there a way that we could make the CDBG money contingent upon the, programmatic, the programs happening is what I'm trying to say. And I think you did it, you and I spoke earlier today and spoken a few times, and you did a good job, I think, and I think it's worth everybody hearing if they didn't catch it last week, that regardless if there's grants come through, and you're pretty confident that you think at least one will, if not multiple, that there will be programs there, and I think it'd be good for us to hear what programs, if no other funding comes about and it's just the city, what would happen there? I think that needs to be very clear.
Yeah, and thank you for that question, and thank you for the conversation this morning along with Alderman Hanauer. And, one of the things that we're doing out of this location, and let me just first and foremost say that this building is pretty turnkey. And I want to restate that. This building is pretty turnkey. Now, with the $1.3 million price tag for a full redevelopment, that gives us a wish list of redevelopment opportunity. And so that includes adding offices in the basement, that includes media center, that includes a really deep dive into a lot of the wish list items that we could fully become operational if we were to invest at that $1.3 million price tag. But within 60 days, I'm confident utilizing the services that we have at our disposal, and a lot of those, if not all of them, are detailed. I presented yesterday, I'm sorry, not yesterday, my days are mixed up, but last week, outlining all of the services that we're going to offer in terms of programming that we're already offering to the business community. It includes centralizing of resources, so, SBDC, SBA, connecting various state opportunities, BEP certification, all those long-term things, LLC, just business resources that are right now available to minority business communities, but they don't necessarily have access to. So we are committed, as we have been for a number of years, to providing those resources within 60 days out of this location. And so it will house the Springfield Black Chamber of Commerce office and the Springfield project within 60 days. Again, fully operational, no, but scaling the operation, yes, will be present. And so to your point, there will be no waiting until we fully acquire that $1.3 million to have programming available to the low to moderate income individuals in the East Side community. And I want to nail down, because I know Bill made the comment, but in our application, we did specify Southtown community and East Side community as the target.
Well, I noticed that Innovate Springfield is one of your partners listed.
Absolutely.
Will Innovate Springfield be functioning at all out of the new building?
Absolutely. They've given a commitment. This conversation, this journey started 5 years ago when Innovate Springfield was essentially conceptualized. And there is a recognized gap as it relates to minority business outreach activities. And so, they were at the table when we first started talking about this. Obviously, it's morphed into this comprehensive redevelopment project over the past 3 years, but they have given a commitment Bruce Summers was here last week to show his commitment to the project, and obviously he oversees the department in Innovate Springfield. So they've given a full commitment that they'll have a presence, programming, as well as partnership on funding opportunities in the future to long-term sustain the programming.
Mr. Watson, will they move their entire operation or be in two places?
2 places.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
Yeah, and just to add to, kind of clarifies what Alderwoman Conley was alluding to, and then also Alderman Donlin, is with the purchase, we will place a lien on the properties to make sure that it adheres to the HUD parameters. So that's to make sure that it moves that direction. So that would be put in place. Alderman Gregory?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You know, this is a good project, and you know, what it has done for our community is exactly what it's really meant to do, is to spur economic development and thoughts and thinkings and partnerships. And since we have, you know, began to talk about this project and really pushing forward to start this first phase on it, I have been contacted by other businesses in the community that were impressed with this young man getting through 300-page applications, coming up here, giving a presentation as he should, and really doing a good job putting together a good sound package for community development block funding. Many of our businesses that are eligible for TIF and things of that nature, they know what they want to do, but these applications are sort of hard to get through. The architecture, all of the things that you got to put together to really come with something like that is no small feat, and it costs money. And that is the very purpose and reason why this entity, this space really needs to be there in that corridor. We have many cars that drive down this Southtown business district, I like to call it, and you know, it has really brought a lot of excitement to our community. So I commend the Springfield project and as well as the Black Chamber of Commerce for bringing this forth and doing a good job and putting in the work for it. I fully support it, and as he does get to going and things, I think that we would be remiss. I think we would let our citizens down in the city if we don't take another look at that whole area down the line and figure out how we can help with whatever funding that we do have to complete not only that but other things in that area. That's our responsibility as a city, and I appreciate you again. Thank you.
Alderman Redpath?
Mr. Watson, did you say Innovate Springfield has signed on to this project?
Innovate Springfield has, and
Mr. Stremstifer, is it?
no, he's with the Community Foundation for the Land of
Community
Lincoln.
Foundation.
But he was here last week as well. He's been a steadfast, partner and stakeholder in this project. John Stremstifer has. He's the one who initially introduced me to Innovate Springfield through the Black Chamber partnership. And so, you know, I just want to say that we've been partnering with Innovate Springfield over the last 5 years. You know, we have, you know, some of our individuals who are minority business owners and entrepreneurs actually going and actually taking advantage of the services that are available at Innovate Springfield. And so this partnership isn't one that, you know, is developing just because this hub or this innovation center is going to be conceptualized on the corner. This is something that, whether this innovation center happens or not, we're going to continue to and committed to working with Innovate Springfield, University of Illinois Springfield, Sangamon Growth Alliance, and whoever else is doing great work in the community as it relates to providing business resources to our community. This just centralizes that activity. I'm talking about this project. It's just centralizing the activities that are already taking place under one building. Alderman Gregory spoke to visibility, right? So we're increasing the visibility of resources that exist for minority business owners and business owners throughout the community, because we're not turning anyone away, right? This is not just a business accelerator, incubator, or social innovation center for exclusively the East Side. Obviously, we're targeting low to moderate income individuals located in Southtown and surrounding areas on the East Side. Yes, that's our primary focus, but we are not turning anyone away.
So I have about 5 questions.
Yes, sir.
Okay. where are you at on the first project that you came forward with about a couple weeks ago, a month ago, the 12th Street project? Where are you guys at on that?
Yeah, so, I talked with John Getz, with R.D. Lawrence. Again, I did want to say that he was out with COVID for 2 weeks, so he just got back in the office last week. But he has had his guys out there doing some preliminary work. We are executing that agreement again, with the holiday and COVID. That slowed that execution down, but I do know for a fact that he's had guys on site doing preliminary work to ensure that we get that.
Where are you at with your funding on that? I know that there's an individual that wanted to get on this project. I'm not going to mention her name, but you know who she is.
Absolutely.
Where are you at on your funding for the project?
Well, that wasn't the funding portion. We haven't reconvened and met. It's been 2 weeks. And so, there was a lot of traveling that was being had. But in terms of funding, we do have a meeting coming up within the next couple of weeks where we'll be addressing long-term, what are we doing? And, we've engaged with the state of Illinois on it. We've engaged with the Community Foundation for the Land of Lincoln on next steps. And I'm confident that we have the right team in place.
Now, I'm asking you those questions because you've been here twice now in the last couple of months, and I just want to make sure that these projects are going along like we planned.
Absolutely.
And so, who's going to be doing the work on the building for you? Have you hired a contractor, or do you know who's going to be on doing the work
for the corner building?
Yes.
1100.
Yeah.
So as of right now, there is no work to be done. I mean, there are 3 items that were flagged as items to have us fully operational and our doors open. If you want me to go into the details.
That's you answered the question. So who's going to own the building?
So that would be the Springfield project.
Okay, and do you have a board of directors?
Absolutely.
Do you have a list of those people? Or?
Yeah, I did provide that and sent that over to the city this afternoon. So would you like me to list those individuals?
As long as you tell me you got it, I believe you. So,
yes.
And then the Black Chamber of Commerce is going to be in there also?
Yes, sir.
But the Springfield project is going to be the owner of the building?
Absolutely.
And as the mayor said, if this project goes to the wrong direction, we will have a lien on the property that will revert back to us or to the CDBG fund. How's that work, Corporation Counsel?
The lien would be really tied to the subrecipient agreement and compliance with the requirements as have been set forth. It would come back to the city, but then it could be recommitted for other work.
And listen, it's not that we're all looking for protection here, no matter how we do it. But I wish you success and want it to go forward. Are you coming back for more money on this project?
I think that we're exhausting all our options right now. I think long term, I mean, I'll be honest with you, we would love to have a line item in the city's budget to operate this location. And so I won't say that I'll never, ever come before you and ask for additional dollars to support this innovation center. But what I can say and what I can promise is it won't be contingent on getting our doors open.
Okay, and do you have investors for this whole project itself? Do you have other people that, where are you getting more money to help you get this thing rolling?
Yeah, so obviously there's grants. I won't dive into the grants. I don't want to dive into the potential what ifs with grant dollars. But there have been conversations with the medical district, specifically Memorial, who's showing extreme interest. In fact, they went on record at the Citizens Club event, I believe it was December, saying, and this was in relation to their community needs health assessment plan that directly ties funding to issues for a 3-year time period. So I've been speaking with as early as 2019 with Dr. Ed Curtis as well as Becky Gabney, who have strong committed contingent on our proposal this month in investing in this.
You did talk to Ed Curtis?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And that dates back to even September of 2019.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, just to clarify, with regards to funding sources with the city, it's easier for us to fund brick and mortar or property purchases, either with CDBG or TIF. those type of dollars. Of course, cannabis is more flexible, but programming, in our discussions with HUD, a lot of that goes towards the county through community resources. So ours is tied to a percentage of the disbursements we have. I think it's like 10%, 15%, so it's real challenging on the programming side. And it's HUD distributes those funds usually through the county resources. Alderman Fulgenzi.
Yes, I'm wondering, when you first came here, you was basically concerned about the project, the house falling down, and it was dilapidated and so forth. What has been done to shore this up? And if we get a heavy snow and stuff, is that still not a problem?
Well, sir, I'm not here to speak about the Taylor home specifically today. You know, this is a different issue that we're voting on. Now, I can provide an update, you know, at a later time as it relates to the full, you know, Taylor home project. You know, that was 2 weeks ago now, 2.5 weeks, give or take. You know, and so, you know, obviously there were some things that we had to do as it relates to executing an agreement. And like I said earlier, I'm sorry.
But as it relates to the Taylor home, since that was brought up, I just want to know if what has been done to shore that up.
Well, Mayor, if it's okay with you,
Sure.
I can come back at a later date
Yep.
with a full report, and I can give you, and I don't mean to cut you off or not answer your question, but I wasn't ready to provide that information tonight, so I don't have a full.
Is it a secret?
No, sir. We're very transparent. We're a very, very transparent organization. I'm very transparent as well.
Yeah, if you could just get with John Getz and then just provide a schedule from him. And then,
Absolutely.
You can send it to actually Tim Griffin and myself and move that direction. That way everybody has a schedule, what would be done when. That'd be helpful.
And just as a follow-up, if
Yes,
I might, Mayor.
Alderman
I
Fred
asked you that question because there's two major projects you got going, and I just want to make sure that you guys can handle those projects together. We want you to have success on both of them, but sometimes those things get a little heavy.
I know.
Okay? And that's the reason I asked that question. It wasn't to misdirect you from what we're doing tonight. Okay?
Absolutely, and we do have a very, very equipped and very successful development team. You met Michelle Dix. A lot of you have met Kevin Ritz, who's our intergovernmental affairs consultant on this. And you know, we are very experienced in handling a magnitude of projects, both regionally, locally, and nationally. And so, and I think Michelle is on the phone now, on Zoom, my apologies. And then Kevin is as well. They couldn't make it today due to travels, but you know, we're very competent. We're very ill-equipped to handle both projects.
I'm just giving you that advice for future endeavors. Okay? Thank you.
Alderman McMenamin.
What impressed me about this project is that you're very familiar with all the pots of money that exist out there at state level funds. You've worked for Senator Menard, and you know how the legislature works.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, I'd rather that those state level funds come to Springfield rather than Decatur grabbing it, or Peoria, or Bloomington, and that's real important for the future of Southtown. I also kind of tagging on to some of the comments that have already been made. I think Southtown is a more worthy recipient of the funds than the Judge Taylor homes, and I hope that not because Judge Taylor doesn't have history that's important, and there's many ways to preserve and honor history, but when you get with Mr. Getz, and you take another look at it, if you think that you should pull the plug on that and safeguard those monies for other businesses along South Grand that need help, you know, keep an open mind about that, you know, and give us some honest feedback. If that property is too far gone, you know, let's not pour good money after bad money down the road, because the funds we've appropriated so far is to preserve the structures, not to do a replica. If later on we decide we want to do a replica, you know, we've already wasted $200,000 roughly. So I know you're thinking the same way, I hope, and good luck on Southtown. And you know, we talked about Judge Taylor because you got two heavy projects on your plate right now.
Absolutely.
So, good luck.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Alderwoman DeSanto.
Thank you. I just want to point out to everyone on this council that we have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on the Kidseum, on Downtown Springfield Inc., on Innovate Springfield. So these are things, I haven't voted for all of them, but these are things that we have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on. Now, I am going to be disappointed if you're constantly coming back and asking for money, because that's what some other organizations do. I'm not saying these, but that's what some other organizations do. And that does get, I don't want to say tiresome, but I think it wears us out. Because we're putting our trust in you to make this happen.
Absolutely.
So I just want to remind, my fellow council members of the things that have been voted on up here in the past. And I think that we should be supportive of this project.
Thank you.
Well, I completely agree with those comments, but bear in mind, if Mr. Watson goes out there and finds state level monies, the money's coming to the state treasury, the city treasury first, and then this council will have to appropriate from our city treasury. So, it's not like you're wrong if you come back. It's just because you've gone out and found some other money that we still have to appropriate.
That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure the public
That's not what I'm
understands
saying
that.
at all, yeah.
Any other discussion? Alderwoman Conley?
I just, and I don't want to belabor it, but
Yeah,
oh, sorry.
Wait.
Is that,
Go ahead, Alderwoman Conley, and then Alderman
no,
Hanna.
you know what, it's not worth it. I was splitting hairs.
I can't hear very well online, it's terrible.
Is that Ralph?
Yeah, she said you can go
Please
first.
go ahead, sir.
All right, thank you. I'm concerned on one thing. We get back to, I look at it from the standpoint of a bank, and would they give money to loan money for this? Right now, we just gave $200-something thousand to the Springfield project for the Taylor home. They didn't have to put one nickel in that project, not one, okay? This project, we're putting the money in to buy the building. To my knowledge, we have not ever bought a building for a group or an individual as long as I've been on the council. Where's that gonna stop? A good example, we got a lot of lake clubs that they're going under. Are we gonna bail them out? Or if any business throughout any ward in this town, are we gonna, help them out? I just don't think that, I'm concerned that we're setting a precedent that we're gonna have problems even down the road. The fact that they don't have any money that they're putting towards this project up front, not, when you go get a loan, they make you put in 10 or 20%. They're getting right now they'll have a $500,000 out of the city and not have one nickel that they've had to put in. And that concerns me. If they don't get the grant, I'm concerned that, they can keep things rolling for a while, but, it's not near the project it's gonna be. It's gonna be their offices in a old rundown building. And, for that reason, I'm sorry, but I cannot support this project as it is right now. I wanna see some skin in the game, and I think it's setting a bad precedent by buying a building for a group or individual or whatever, and for that reason, I can't support it.
This is Jim Langfelder, Alderman. One thing I will state to that is sometimes projects don't happen without the city support. And one is what was known as the Web.com tour. And we put $30,000 towards that, and that was investment. And so that's an initiative that, nobody was stepping up to the plate. Now Memorial's on board, and they've sponsored that, which we appreciate. LRS has sponsored it as well, which we appreciate. But sometimes we have to start with the initial investment of the city, and then others see the commitment and the confidence level of the city coming to the table, and that will draw the others in. So that's one example that's flourished because of our initial action of investing at that particular, that was an event. But in this case, it's a building, as we all know, it was tragically a place where we had a shooting earlier this year. And so it's a way to activate that space and breathe new life into it. Alderman Redpath. Oh, go ahead. Alderman Hanauer. Alderman Redpath.
And I know where Alderman Hanauer is going with that, but, you know, this money cannot be used just in any project. It has to be used for this area. And that's a contingency that we all have to consider. The other thing is we are looking out for the taxpayers' welfare. And if we have a plan that if something goes bad, we have a lien. Does that mean that they cannot sell the property without us? So that's a protection. I can tell you that I'm not going to vote for a ton of money to be dumped into this project from the city. I just won't. I support this. I wish you well. I hope you get the grants. I hope that you get help and hope people step up to the plate like Memorial and like other big businesses in Springfield to help you. But the fact that this is CDBG money, this is money that needs to be spent in this area, and I will support it.
Thank you.
Alderman Donlin.
Yeah, Mayor, thank you. I apologize for speaking the second time, but I did want to kind of wrap it up by saying that, you know, Southtown is, again, one of those areas of Springfield that's an identifiable neighborhood, has landmarks that people know from today and yesteryear, and I'd love to see it revitalized and brought back to even better than it is today. There's no secret that that property has had some major problems in the last few years, and I'm hoping with new ownership that we can turn that around. So I wish you the best.
Appreciate that.
Any other discussion?
Can I
go ahead.
Say one last thing? I'd be remiss not to recognize the work that the Economic Development Office did in assisting us along the way in this project. Robbie, Krista, and the rest of the team have been very instrumental in supporting and helping along the way. Oftentimes, the road was a little bit bumpy, but we got through it, and that's why we're here today. So thank you, Robbie and Krista.
Great. Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion vote yes. Those opposed vote no. The voting is now open.
Alderman Hanauer, how do you vote? Thank you.
So the motion passes, 9 voting yes, 1 voting no. Chair will entertain a motion to suspend the rules and place on first reading agenda number 2022-001, an ordinance authorizing a 1-year renewal of contract PW 20-21 with Evans Cartage for landscape disposal services for an amount not to exceed $780,000 from April 1st, 2022 through March 31st, 2023 for the Office of Public Works.
So moved.
Second.
The move and second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Is there any unfinished business come before the council?
Yes.
Yes, Alderman Redpath.
Could you tell me what the status is of the Ferguson building?
Corporation Council.
It is my understanding that the developer is preparing the financing plan. They have not been able to do that yet because of a delay on tax credits. We did ask them to give a written report this month, so we should be getting something from them in the next week or two.
What's the realistic outcome of, is this going to happen or is this not going to happen? I mean, we've been sitting on this for almost 2 years, and I don't know if it's 2
Yeah,
years.
we'll have them come to the next city council meeting. I mean,
We
it's,
need some closure on that one way or another. If they're not gonna do it, let's try to do something else.
right.
That's an important aspect for downtown Springfield. We can't generate business downtown if we don't put people down there. And that's a first step on how we were gonna do it. As you know, Mayor, I applaud you for doing everything you can to try to help that, but we gotta get that thing moving.
No doubt.
Mayor, if I,
Say that,
Mayor, if I
you know,
can.
as a, Alderman, as a practical matter, they have already spent between approximately $2 and $3 million.
Of their own money?
Yes, they have.
Okay.
And so right now, they bought the underlying mortgage. And so something is, it would be my respectful comment that something is definitely going to happen. We're just not clear on exactly the form it's going to take.
Are they gonna follow the agreement that we made with them at the beginning of this?
We've insisted that they do that.
Thank you.
If they receive any TIF funds, they must follow through, and they're going to have to come back for an amendment because we need a new schedule.
Will
You know,
it be a
we've
new
already been
Be a
through
new
that.
agreement.
It'll be a new agreement, right?
Yeah, they have to come back to the
Okay.
council for the, once financing package is in place, they have to come back for the city council for approval.
Thank you.
Because the numbers may change by way of their, one of the things that's happened that they've cautioned a little bit about, and I'll just mention this to you, is that construction costs have accelerated dramatically. And I think that has impacted their ability on the financing.
I understand. Second question, the fire study, where are we at?
Yeah, that should be, I think, next week. They said mid-January.
Could we just go back and every meeting say it's next week?
Replay. No, actually, it is supposed to be mid-January is what we gave them. They took a look at the locations that we picked out for responses and the new fire station location. So that was the kind of the change up
And
within
how would that
plan.
play into the restructuring of the command staff at the fire department?
That will be in the report. We asked them for a comparable with the structure that we have compared to other cities.
Thank you.
Alderwoman Conley, then Alderman Donlin.
My comment was simply that I was assuming we would see a new contract for that Ferguson building and not an amendment. So thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Alderman Donlin?
Yeah, not to belabor the Ferguson building, but to add, I would make a suggestion, since last time, and remember, it wasn't exactly it did pass, I didn't vote for it, but it did pass. It wasn't the smoothest process in the world. I think it came back a couple of times. I would suggest that why come to us until the financing is in place? Because otherwise, we're going to be in the same exact boat, and this is going to go on and on and on. So just a suggestion. They were supposed to have everything in place within 90 days before. I don't want to belabor the point again, but, here we are months and months later, over a year later, and just a suggestion that probably would be a good idea.
Yeah, I just didn't know if you wanted an update directly from the developer
Well,
or just wait till they get the financing in place and
We know they're
bring it
having
back
financing
then.
problems, and maybe that's enough, but Alderman Redpath's right. Let's get some finality to it rather than just leave it in limbo. But why not get the financing before you come to us? Then we know where it stands, and we know that they have a letter that says they have the financing, and it's not contingent upon A, B, C, D, E, and F all the time, so.
Right.
Anyway.
Yep.
Thank you.
And on that, what's kind of crazy in this, if you had the crystal ball, they've been better off getting the financing if they could and paying off the previous debt, which wasn't theirs. But with the escalation of the construction prices, I think that would have been a better move, unfortunately. But they said they're trudging along, so hopefully we'll have an answer soon on the financing part and the closing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Alderman Hanauer?
Thank you. I've got to tell you that we've been through 2 years of pandemic. We've had remote sessions. We've had people in and out. Tonight, having been out, unfortunately, this is one of the hardest things that you can't hear. We've got to find a system that when you guys talk on the microphones, that we
We've used Zoom in the past, won't we?
What'd you say?
Yeah, well, yeah.
That's funny.
Well, one, we appreciate you being remote, but we will check into that and see what can be worked out better.
I have an idea.
Yes, Alderwoman DeCenzo.
I bought my son a $20 ring light for Christmas, and we could just put it at the back of the room with a iPhone, and we can Zoom like that. Or with an iPad.
I don't think Zoom's the issue.
Really, it's not that difficult.
No.
Mayor?
We have hundreds of people.
Yeah, I think here's the, and Director Frevert can speak to it. We have two systems trying to operate simultaneously, and that doesn't cut it.
So I think there's two issues. There's the streaming question, which we're working through, and we have a system in place that we purchased. So streaming is a totally different issue. And then joining remotely. Zoom was easier. Well, it was not easier. Tom Chi and I were doing that. Tom Chi has moved into a new position than today. I was notified, you know, how we're going to have everybody join. It's easier if I'm alerted about it, then I can set it up and work it, and I monitor it. Everyone says, oh, turn it over to your team. It's me and Tony. That's who it is. So we had issues with going live because of the streaming. That was different because Zoom is a meeting platform. So there's two different pieces. So we have the ability. We're working through it. This was just kind of a last minute, how's everyone going to join? And that kept getting added. So they went through the clerk's office. That is how it was done. If we're going to look at it differently, we can do it. We just have to have a little bit more notice just because of my abilities. I'll be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Else?
Alderwoman Conley?
Actually, yes, I do. So you
Yes.
mentioned streaming, which is something, obviously, that's been a concern of mine.
Yes.
How close are we to getting that? How close are we at it?
We put in the purchase order for streaming. So we do have streaming, which people, through our website, whether people don't like, I mean, people may not like it because they can't comment, but that's really not the purpose of engaging with city council, in all honesty. So we're looking through a system that actually would allow an outside service to stream it. So if a media outlet wants to stream it elsewhere, so if we go down, there's an outside way for somebody to access our city council meetings. Right now, every way, how we stream our meetings is all internal. It's through our system. So through Comcast goes down, we have difficulty streaming. This third-party outlet would allow us to have a stream key that would be able to have a media outlet host it, other outlets host it. So we purchased it,
So
we're waiting for it.
That seems a little complicated, too. I mean, we're still talking about an outside media source
No, it's,
streaming it?
I've engaged media outlets who said they would take our meetings. And so it's not like we have to, it's similar to how the school board does it. We actually operate their school board meetings. They have the same streaming device, and they take it to YouTube. We had been using Zoom. Zoom was a meeting function, so after 30 or 45 minutes, we'll go back to when the music started playing during the debate. That's because nobody joined the meeting. It clicked off, and so that's why we can't do it. So we have to have another function. So with Zoom, once we get the streaming piece, they'll install it. We'll have a stream key that can be added to anybody's website or an outside outlet. If our own city website is not sufficient for people to watch it, or Cablecast.
Well, and I thank you for that. I do appreciate it. I understand it's complicated. I think Alderman DeCenzo touched on a topic I've actually discussed with Clerk Lesko, because I hear from people who say, I miss you guys being on Facebook. The Facebook live stream, it's easy, it's clickable, that's a medium that a lot of people are accustomed to going to and watching things.
But it gets very,
but let me, we realistically need to be planning, like 2 weeks ago, for the surging in our cases that we're dealing with. I mean, today's numbers are 100 more than they were yesterday. If we were having these kind of numbers last year, we would not be in this council chamber. I mean, we're asking people who want to come and address us have to come into these council chambers, and I appreciate that Omicron maybe not as deadly, but we got a joint letter from our hospitals asking people, This is serious, we're surging, hospitals are filling up. We need to be prepared. So I really think we need, and again, Clerk Lesko and I were talking about just setting up a tablet in the back of the room so we could stream it to Facebook. But we also need to be looking as a council, mayor, as just an organization, what are our procedures in place so that we can safely and effectively execute our jobs amid some really terrifying COVID. I mean, these are scary COVID numbers.
Yeah, I
You know,
think,
and we need to be planning for that. And I'm not saying that you aren't.
No, we can go live. If you guys all said next Tuesday, we are having to go remote, we have the capability of doing that. I think that's where I get frustrated as the director of communications. Right. Everyone thinks I have this big staff. It is me. Who sends out neighborhood news? It's me. And Tony. And Tony operates our cable access station in partnership with me. And so my issue as the director of communications with Facebook is there's a lot of nasty comments that go on during the meeting. And personally, for people who want to engage with city council, they should engage by listening to what our alderman, clerk, treasurer, mayor are saying, and not the nasty or hateful things. And again, I have to monitor that. So I have to hide and block and do all of that by myself. And so is that the way I'm appointed to say, is that how I want people to engage with city council? No, because of Facebook. We offer a viable solution for people to watch online, and that is on our website. I understand people like to comment, but that is not, in my opinion, what people should be doing. They can watch on YouTube. We will offer an alternative outside of our capabilities for people to engage. Will it be on the city's Facebook page? With me having to monitor it, most likely it will not happen. If somebody else chooses to take our stream key and do it that way through an agreement, that is fine. But based on staffing levels and all of that, no. But if the governor shuts us down tomorrow, I'm confident we will go live and everybody is capable of doing, we are capable of doing that.
Perfect.
So I just want to clarify, but there is definitely a difference between streaming and people joining via Zoom. And I am usually the last to know when someone's joining. So I just need to, my understanding was it was just Krista Colas joining to answer questions, and then it just kept adding. So.
And please understand, the Facebook comment section, I tend to, we all know what Facebook comments can turn into. And I understand where you're going with that, so.
Mute, yeah.
Have we lost somebody?
Hence Zoom mute. So I understand, and I hear it, and I totally get it. Do I get frustrated? Yes. Is it perfect? No. We are a cable access station. Like I said, it's, Tony does the best that he can. ISD assists us when we go down. We have a lot of balls to juggle, so we are working towards it. I hope to have a better update. I did talk to our outside vendor who I get my equipment from. Everything's in process, so.
It just, and again, and I appreciate all of that. I understand it's a lot.
Ralph, we can't hear you. No, I'm kidding.
We're not listening,
Mayor, get
Ralph.
your sister some staff.
Alderman Hanauer.
I do just want to say, I think
Go ahead.
it's.
And look, I'm not casting blame or anything. I'm just saying we've got to do whatever we can to get it fixed. That's all I'm saying. I'm sorry I hit unmute and it's easier to watch it from the TV, but there's about a 5-second delay from what is actually said to when it comes over the TV. So it's easier from home to watch it on TV.
No delay.
But you gotta be able to be fast with your with switching from mute and unmute and on the TV and that. And I just want to we got to have a better system. And I agree. Facebook is full of people that want to just it's ugly. And I agree. It's nice to have it out in different realms, but I like the idea just on the city side. And if they want to talk to us, if they want to send us an email or whatever, I've never seen anybody afraid to do that because we get quite a few. So, but Julia, I don't want you to think, or the clerk's office. I just think this needs to be fixed. I don't care how we do it, and I'm not blaming one or the other. It needs to be fixed.
Yeah, the only thing, a couple things I'll say is, one is we did have an ordinance to go under one system, but that didn't move forward. And anytime you have, you know this, Alderman Hanauer, anytime you have two technologies trying to integrate, it's very difficult. With regards to the communications operating remotely, I would challenge any municipality in the country that compares to the city of Springfield. We did not miss one meeting during the pandemic, and we continue to operate. And the reason for that is to provide confidence to our public. It's very important to do that. So we thank Tom Chi and Director Fevert for making that happen, but the City Council for supporting that and moving forward, because that was crucial in the times we're in and the times we're going to. With regards to the third or fourth, peak of the pandemic, this should not be a surprise. Everybody should read their history. This happened in the 1908 flu, same thing. First year, it was horrendous. Second year came with more horrendousness, is greater. So this should not be a shock to anybody. And so we'll continue to move forward in this direction, but what we don't want is the divisiveness of social media. And that's what happens when you put things out there. We have to protect the integrity of the City Council. And I don't see any government entity under the microscope more than the City Council. And, we have to protect that integrity. People go on Facebook, they can do whatever they want. We're talking January 6th. They're talking on the news about the insurrection. Well, guess how that happened? People going off on their, and just saying whatever they want. That's what, someone that hides behind a screen, that's what they're able to do. And so we're going to protect the integrity of the City Council. And Director Fevert's correct. It's about conducting the business of the City Council. So if someone cannot make it in or, sign up and operate remotely and speak at the end of the meeting, they need to send their comments in writing and we will read them. That's another way we can do it, the old-fashioned way. But it's important that we do stick to the business at hand, what's on the agenda, and move forward like we have been over this past 2-year period. Any other discussion?
I'll just say that I'll work with the clerk's office and with Tim Griffin to know which elected official is not able to join, and we'll make sure that it goes through our speaker system, that it doesn't flip over to YouTube and music plays while people are talking. We will make sure that that's what we're trying to, that's why we stopped doing what we were doing, to make sure we had the right system in place. But once someone joins the meeting via Zoom, we should be okay, so.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Speaking of the pandemic, though, there's Saturday, we do have another vaccination clinic at the YMCA from 9 to 3, and that's on 4th and Carpenter. It's for vaccines for 5 years of age and older. And then we also have boosters, and Memorial Health Services is giving out gift cards to the county market and Walmart for those getting their first or second vaccine doses. Any other unfinished business?
Yes, Mayor.
Yeah, Alderman Roy
Did we resolve our differences with the airport authority? Did that get taken care of?
Well, Corporation Counsel, you want to speak to the actions taken so far?
Well, excuse me. The mayor has sent a letter asking for a meeting, and both the OBM has basically calculated what we think is the disputed amount. So there will be a discussion with mayor and invited both chairman and basically the commissioners to meet and go through what the issues are. And so I think it's not correct, we're just waiting to see what the response is. So we've invited a meeting to set with them and talk it through.
When did you send that?
Today.
Thank you.
Mayor, you were going to send copies to the owner.
Yeah, we'll send that to the council after tonight's meeting.
Thank you.
But it went by mail, so you'll get it before they do probably. Or we'll email it to their group too. Any other old business? New business? Any new business? We do have the budget. I don't know if Julie, you want to go over that, but the books I think will be to the council members. We're trying to get it to everybody by January 18th. And then the following week, week of the 22nd, I think the 21st is the first hearing, I believe, to go over the overview of the budget.
Thank you.
And then all those will be televised and streamed. Yep, I think that's it. So anybody else have anything at the council level?
Yes, sir.
Anybody here wish to address the council? If you'd state your name and address for the council, we'd appreciate it. We do have one signed up for speak.
Yes, we do have one.
Good evening, Council. My name is Michael Williams, 2536 Columbus Circle. Just again, thanking you guys for doing the right thing and supporting CAP 1908, as well as the Taylor home. One thing I think that Lil Augie, as we call her at times, the Central said, just remember how when other projects come up, they're passed, when we're bringing things over from that east side, really keep that in mind. And I think Chuck said something that really touched me too tonight, that some of these dollars only could be spent in a certain area. So those dollars are just sitting there. And there's an engine that is lighting a fire under Ward 2 and Ward 3 aldermen about spending some money. And I'm not going to say his name, but it's time for them to get to spending some money, coming up with some projects. We got a mentor now, and Dominique, who can show us how to get through that 300-page process and to come up here and put together a PowerPoint so that you guys can see. I only ask that Ward 2 and Ward 3, please get the other aldermen the information prior to, because a lot of these questions could be answered before we have to get up here and stand here. Because a wave is coming. We want to change the east side of Springfield. Dollars are there to change the east side of Springfield. Not everybody that's going to come before you is going to have money too, but when a community has been not developed for 30 to 40 years, most of your organizations will be new upstart organizations. So they won't quite have the matching dollars or dollars of. As keepers of state and federal dollars, you guys have every right to make sure. Put liens. Well, you're only going to get it if this happens. That's fine. But at least give these projects a chance by passing them and giving us a chance. Because we want to stop the violence. We want community development. We want economic development. We want our children to be educated. We want training programs. It's a long laundry list. So I know I keep saying Ward 2 and 3, but it's actually upon all 10 of you guys to make this happen for us. Not just counting on 6 of you. We're counting on all 10 of you to take a look at the projects that will be coming. And if they're good, and you know they're good, then give us that chance, especially us first-timers. Chuck, thank you. Kristen, thank you. Mayor, yeah, Cowboys. Yeah.
Hey, Mike, you're not really a Cowboys fan, are you?
All my life.
Okay.
All my life, Chuck.
We did have a person sign up, Mary Francis. You can come forward, please.
Thank you, Mayor Langfelder. Mary Francis, 400 West Cook Street. And I'm here tonight to talk about some blighted parking lots in my neighborhood. I live about a block away from them. And over the last 30 years, they've been slowly deteriorating. And the last couple of years, I've been working hard to try to do something about them. I talked to the owners a couple years ago. They were at that time local attorneys, and they wanted to sell them, but they didn't want to improve them. So they just continue to sit there. And I've also tried to work with Public Works, getting the sidewalks around the perimeter replaced. They're crumbling. There's an alley that goes right through the middle of it. So I'm trying to see if the city can repave that alley. They did tell me there wasn't enough use for it, so they didn't want to repave it. I believe the city is already cutting the grass there and trying to bill the owners, but the owners aren't paying for it. I think the city also cited them for tree trimming, which they did. There's a lot of garbage. It looks horrible. And you're probably saying to yourself, well, there's a lot of blighted parking lots in Springfield, but this one is special to me because, not only because I live close to it, but it's right across the street from the State Capitol Complex. It's right across the street from the Illinois State Museum, from the Stratton Building. it's right in the middle of the Vinegar Hill neighborhood. And Alderman Donlin, I appreciate what you said about, established neighborhoods having landmarks, because I feel like Vinegar Hill's improving, and the Cons just bought Vinegar Hill Mall, and literally all these wonderful businesses are around the perimeter of this parking lot, and they take excellent care of their properties, but everyone's just sitting there looking at this horrible mess. So I just feel frustrated. I don't know what to do next. I don't know if it could qualify for COVID relief money in terms of making it into a green space to improve tourism in that area, or have signage for COVID, because there is COVID testing that goes on at the Stratton building. So I'm open to any suggestions. Thank you.
Thank you. And then if you could let Nate Bottom or Daryl Harris know the exact location. Are those corner lots?
Yes, and Miss Mary has been in contact with me, and every time she is, I do send the information to Director Bottom and Director Harris, and they both have been addressing them. There's been violations, but I did want to ask Nate or Daryl to come up and speak to what we have been talking about and how you all have been addressing the parking lots.
So it's between Edwards and Cook.
Okay.
And then Spring and College.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you,
And
Ms.
if I
Mary.
could comment, Mayor, if I could ask
Yep,
Corporation
Alderman
Counsel,
Redpath.
if we're cutting, if we're maintaining those, don't we put liens on those properties? So
Yeah, we would do that to recuperate the costs associated with that.
thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Happy New Year, right?
Happy 2022.
Hey, thanks
Glad to see everyone still
Thanks for the
sound
Christmas
and
card, by the way,
healthy.
Daryl.
Let me just talk about the realities and the facts. First of all, it was first brought to our attention initially from Mrs. Mary Francis, and also coupled with comments and stuff from Alderwoman Purchase. We immediately went out there. I immediately sent our team out there. They took pictures of the area. This is a very large area that we're talking about. I'm very fond of, because I literally stayed in a home that's still there with the Black Caucus and Mike Madigan, previous speaker, for about 4
You pull your
years
mask
in
down,
that area.
we can't understand you.
Thank you, for about 4 years, thank you, in that area. So I'm very familiar with the area. Took pictures, we showed the same pictures that I believe Mary Francis had taken as well. I think she took a more of a close-up type version of it. We took a more spread to show you the actual magnitude of the area we're talking about. In general, the area is maintained. As far as the city cutting the grass, I'm not aware of that. As far as the city doing anything with trees, the tree trimming, there's no very few trees, maybe on the outline of the area. I think there were a couple of pictures Alderwoman Purchase that show a few branches in this very, more than a mile of a block each direction area. Very minimum type branches that was there on it. There was a couple of extrusions of rebar that the owner did address immediately. We found another area of rebar. But I'm just saying, if you look at the magnitude of the area we're talking about, and you look at how many real citable violations, correction, to cite for weeds, it has to be over 10 inches or more. The area we're talking about, when you put any type of ruler, you're talking about 2 inches maybe, and that's on a good day. So all because there are some weeds growing through a crack does not constitute a violation. All because there's 1 or 2 branches that may have flown from neighboring properties, something like that, does not automatically constitute a violation. My job and my mindset is always business friendly. So we did reach out to the owners. The owners did respond. I showed Alderwoman Purchase the pictures before and after. The owner responded. But I cannot manufacture violation, and I will not, because it's not fair to the business community, it's not fair to the Springfield taxpayers. We will do things fairly and properly. And that's the only way I can cite, based on a violation, not made up assumption or I like purple lights and you like blue lights. That's how our particular team conducts themselves. When there are real, valid violations, we will take it to the Hill. But we cannot manufacture because of someone's likes and other person's dislikes. That's the truth regarding that particular issue. We responded not only to Alderwoman, I'm sorry, forgive me, Purchase, but everyone that inquired about it. Take a look for yourself. The pictures are there. Pictures are online.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else wish to address the council? Is there a motion for adjournment?
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. We're adjourned. Thank you.
All